Welcome back to another stock market open live stream. Today is a very special day. It's actually not. It's just sort of the start of some earnings that we're going to start getting. Like nothing really exciting this week. Hate to share it. But we get Netflix at the end of the week. We do get Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, and Citigroup reporting on Tuesday. We have Chris Waller from the Fed expected to speak today at 3 p.m. Eastern, so right around lunchtime for those of you in California. And you've kind of got this weird divergence going on politically, which, I'm hoping to see what y'all think about this, but I'm a little sussed out by this. And usually, if there's anyone that's good at sussing things out, it's people in the comments here. Anyway, what I'm noticing is one of the reasons I think Bitcoin has started to move up is because Polymarket and Predictive are pricing in a greater chance of Donald Trump winning, which is fascinating because you've had this sort of like flip-flop from, Kamala blowing him out of the water on the Predictive markets and Polymarket to now all of a sudden Trump blowing Kamala out of the water. But what's remarkable about it is that's not what we're seeing in actual polling. Actual polling hasn't moved at all. So I want to get your opinion on this. Take a look at this. Presidential election winner at 54% now for Donald Trump. And if you go to predict it, you see Donald Trump is now sitting at 54 over here on Predicted as well, which is remarkable because this is a complete flip. You can see right here, it's all gone right back to Trump. But there has been no meaningful shift whatsoever in the actual polling. Now, often people like to say that the predicted markets are more accurate because people are actually putting their money on it rather than just responding to some survey or poll or whatever. But this is where I want to mention something that I think is sus, and I want to see what your thoughts are on this, okay? So watch this. Yeah, I've seen this idea too, this idea that polls are over-covering Democrats. Yeah, well, that wasn't true over here. Okay, I'm not saying, maybe there wasn't some coordination to sandbag the polls. And that seems like a stretch. I think there's a better explanation. Take a look at this. Look right here. You see where this spike took over? Look at where Elon Musk visited Trump at the Butler rally, right here on October 6th. Nothing really yet on October 7th. Nothing really yet on the 8th. But then 2 days later, you start getting this jump. Right on Monday, because he went to the event on a Saturday. And then on Monday, you get the media coverage. Trump takes the lead in, betting markets. Look at the volume now. So you go over here to the volume candles. The volume candle skyrockets the Monday after and stays substantially elevated. Look at the volume. Look how low it was between September 10th. Super low volume. And when Elon went up on stage. Interesting. Then I look at Polymarket and I do the same thing. And you can see this flip-flop right here, right after Elon visited with Trump. And Donald Trump taking this substantial lead that Harris otherwise had. And when you look at top holders, the top holders for Trump hold about 34 million in bets, whereas the top 10 holders for Harris only hold $19 million in bets. In my opinion, there is a possibility that Elon knows the power of these betting markets to get free press, and he's been buying a crap load of bets for Trump and against Harris potentially on Predicted and Polymarket, and is skewing the betting markets because this order book is very, 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 very loose. It's actually not like that liquid of a market. A few $1 million can really swing this. So, which ironically could be some of the best marketing for Trump if you think about it. Rather than spending, $50 million to get out the vote and knock on people's doors. Just screw up the order book on these prediction markets while they're still relatively new and they still get a lot of press, and boom, you have yourself, a built-in opportunity to get some free marketing. Now, this is of course just speculation. I could be totally wrong, but I wanted to mention it because I feel like y'all are generally pretty good at sussing out, if something has potential. And to me, when I was studying this, because I was up this morning at like 3 a.m., when I was studying this, I'm like, this is weird. If there was really a change in sentiment in October that is being predicted by Polymarket and Predictive, you would expect to at least see some change in the average aggregate here of polling for Trump versus Harris. Just like when Harris took over in the predicted markets, her polling averages went up. Now remember, this chart right here is not one poll. It's the average of all of the latest polls at any given time. So I'm not saying that polls are accurate. We all know they're not accurate. I'm just saying that the change that you've seen, the flip that you've seen in the betting markets, has not aligned with the polling averages, whereas in history it has. So something's getting messed up over here. And I just wouldn't put it past Elon. And I'm not saying this is illegal or wrong. I actually think it's kind of brilliant. I just wouldn't put it past Elon to screw the order book up in favor of Trump because it gets headlines. Anyway, that's my thesis. So let's see what some of y'all think in some of the comments. Skewing to the plus side for Trump would work against Trump. I don't know if I agree with that. Now, normally what you're getting at is the idea that when polls suggest you're in a heavy lead, that people don't get out and vote because they feel like they don't need to. But actual polls don't show Trump in a lead. The betting markets do. And so what you could be trying to create is this dissension between the two and implying, oh, smart money knows Trump is going to win, but we still have to get out the vote because the other polls say maybe not. There's still enough uncertainty so you get the free press while still maintaining the uncertainty to get people out to vote. Who knows? But I think this is very interesting. TJ here says, you're reaching, and then immediately says, Trump 2024, let's go. Okay, so leave it to somebody who would literally follow up their comment with Trump 2024 to say that I'm reaching. You're not biased at all. Okay. So, 99% of the people voting for Kamala don't know SH9T about politics. They're voting for her because she's a woman and woman of color. Well, I don't know if that 99% is true. I'm sure there's some percentage, but I'm not sure about that. It was the hurricane response by Harris and the government. Ooh, that's a good argument. Okay, that's good. That's not a bad suggestion. Let's see here. Pennsylvania is voting Trump. Okay, all right. This could also be the media trying to make sure it's a tight race. Oh, that's an interesting argument, right? This idea that it's the media trying to make it seem like there's a challenge here. That's Elon's PAC money. Yeah, entirely possible. Elon's got a lot of dollars going into that political action committee. In fact, there was a piece. Oh, I was looking at it this morning. I don't think I can find it super easily because I threw it away. But there was a piece this morning that was talking about how Elon's been stumping like crazy for Trump. But it wasn't just recently that he's been getting into stumping. Oh, there it is. Frenzied Musk is going all in to elect Trump. It wasn't just... Oh, what's in the other section? It wasn't just that article that was saying that, yeah, he's all in on Trump. It was actually the article saying, hey, he's... Musk, has been secretly trying to support Trump for a long time. I found it. I can't believe I finally found it. He praises Trump's courage under fire, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Secret support at first. I thought this was really interesting. The idea for the super PAC was born out of 2 exclusive dinners. After Mr. DeSantis flamed out of the Republican primary, let's see here. Mr. Musk began telling friends that he wanted to find a way to support Mr. Trump secretly. At one dinner earlier this year with a group of Trump-friendly billionaires, including Nelson Peltz and John Paulson, Mr. Musk voiced an earnest, if naive, belief in the way that politics should work. He dismissed the power of television advertising and spoke sweepingly of an organic movement to elect Trump. Interesting. So you already know he has a bias against TV advertising. With supporters persuading others to join the cause. Two voters by two voters. That's how Mr. Trump should win, he said. In April, Mr. Musk arranged for a dinner to be held at the Los Angeles home of venture capitalist David Sachs. There, Mr. Musk and a phalanx of some of the world's wealthiest people, including Rupert Murdoch, Dow Jones guy, Wall Street Journal, former Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, and Peter Thiel, said that 10 votes by 10 votes was by how Mr. Trump would win. Mr. Musk told about a dozen dinner companions that supporting Trump would be politically safe if they did it in large numbers. And so it was important for business people to organize their peers. This is so interesting. Mr. Trump has made it clear that he appreciates the help, promising to appoint Mr. Musk to oversee the government efficiency team if he is reelected. That's the, what did he call it? The Department of Government Efficiency, aka Doge. At a rally in Reading, Pennsylvania on Wednesday night, Mr. Trump appeared preoccupied with Mr. Trump, telling stories about his talks with Mr. Musk in 3 unrelenting tangents, celebrating the dark MAGA hat that some attendees said they bought because Mr. Musk wore it in Butler. And it keeps going. Very interesting. Oh, all right. Can't believe I found that. I had to go through a lot of papers there to get that. Somebody's like, what is he holding that he is reading? That would be The Art of War. You know, it's actually really funny. Anybody who's like watched my course lectures or some of my videos, you know I'm a big fan of chaos theory. And I had never read this before, but I started reading it. And one of the quotes I wrote down was the following: amid the turmoil and tumult of battle, there may be seeming disorder, yet no disorder at all. Amid confusion and chaos, your array may be without head or tail, yet it will be proof against defeat. It's funny because to me that's like screaming chaos theory, order out of disorder, right? And it's kind of cool. So I found that really entertaining. All right. I like how people are talking about TLT, yet the bond market is closed today. So, like, the bond market isn't trading today. Welcome to Columbus Day. Happy Columbus Day, everyone. That's kind of entertaining. Somebody here says, now show us the unbiased polls. That does not exist. Somebody else says, you're such a try-hard fascist turd. And yet you're here at 5:50 in the morning watching me hold a spooky mug with a stormtrooper hat, reading from a newspaper. I don't know who's more of the turd. Did I just call everyone a turd? That's okay. We're all turds. Let's see here. The SEC and Dems have cost crypto people hundreds of billions of dollars. Interesting. Okay. Very interesting. Pelosi's PAC money. Yeah, the response to the hurricane could have caused the big spike for Trump. That's true. I mean, that's you know, the at least the publicity around the hurricane was response was pretty negative. So anyway, all right. Well, that's what I take it as. So we'll see. Somebody here says that poll looks fraudulent AF. Yeah, I don't know if you're paying attention or not, but I didn't reference a poll. I referenced an average of dozens of polls on the Real Clear Politics website. And then I referenced betting markets, Predictive and Polymarket. So when you say that poll looks fraudulent AF, I think you should really clarify which poll, unless, of course, you're only half paying attention. Kevin being a proud dad that provides for his family and employees is fascist nowadays. That's true. Yep. It's a fascist capitalist scam. That's all it is. Waking up at 3 a.m. trying to provide news and perspective is now a fascist capitalist scam. All right, very well. So, and then see, like, this is the logical fallacy of the loaded question. Like, why are you so worried about Trump winning the election? Well, okay, so first of all, your statement implies that I am worried about Trump winning the election, when the reality is I made A, no such indication, and B, I reiterate no such indication now. So therefore, your statement is flawed from the onset. You're using a logical fallacy to try to indicate your interest in supporting Trump, and you can't seem to have a political discussion without a major bias in literally a one-sentence line. So I think y'all got to be kind of careful with the political nonsense. Like, it should be okay to discuss politics without, having to pick a side. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch. All right. So with that said, let's take a look at the pre-market. So Bitcoin had a nice little jump here. Let's see here. So look at this. This was an incredible skyrocket here. And what I thought was interesting was the time. It was right at midnight. Look at that. I was like, what was it? Let me see here. Look at that candle on BTC there. Somebody went all in right there, it seems like. So the hour before midnight. Yeah, just 1 hour before midnight. And you really took it off from your low over here of the 61.7 line. It got to about 62. To really resting right on 63.840, where we've been at frequently. To now trying to move a little higher. We've been in this place before, though. As you can see, this downtrend that's been going on, quite frankly, since March, has continued. It's been harder for Bitcoin to move up. You've been hitting lower highs pretty frequently here. And to some extent, you've been hitting lower lows, although not so much recently. Recently, it seems like you're consolidating a little bit more in this range, but we'll see where this goes. Market is vastly green today. You did have Palantir close down only 2 basis points on Friday, and it's currently up 39 basis points, just like Enphase, also up 39 basis points. Tesla, after its 8.7% decline here, moves up 1.1% here in pre-market with another 1.2 on Nvidia. Now, something else to consider is somebody asked the question of what do I think about the Boeing layoffs? Well, I think it's unfortunately sort of the start of the evidence of the continued weakening of our economy. Unfortunately, the poopiest companies are going to go bankrupt or conduct layoffs first. So Spirit Airlines bankruptcy, Boeing, layoffs, like these are things that are just unfortunately going to happen. And they're going to happen amongst the weakest of American companies first. Your most resilient companies will instead resort to what we like to call quiet layoffs, which are things like, Amazon saying, hey, everybody has to return to work. Oops. So, yeah. We'll see. All right. Rate traders are trying to game out the Fed's next move in November, and they may look towards the San Francisco Fed's proxy funds rate, which recently dropped below the effective funds rate for the first time since 2021. This validates current projection of a more tempered pace of easing in the coming months. In other words, that's also a sign, though, that markets think the Fed might get behind the curve here. We only have about a 84% chance of a cut in November. Also, keep in mind, bond markets are closed today, so you're not really going to get any kind of bond indicators. It's also a banking holiday. It's Columbus Day, so if you have the day off, congratulations. but the stock market's still open for business. Uh, uh, uh. All right. Let's go take a peek at okay. Really? Still on commercial. Wow. All right, we'll go over here.
This is Bloomberg. Bringing you.
Oh, they're all on commercial. Okay, let's see how SoFi is doing. Ooh, SoFi up 8%. Probably, honestly, on the back of those bank earnings. The bank earnings were pretty good. Let's take a look at what the news is. Fortress Pact. Loan platform expansion with Fortress Pact. What the heck is that? Alright, well, let's see what we have here. SoFi is expected to generate 11 cents of EPS. Its earnings growth should actually be pretty decent. Let's see what we got here. Oh, wow. Markets are pricing in a lot of growth over the next 4 years. 68% growth. And now it's trading for 976 divided by 11 cents. Oh, yeah, that's actually not terrible. Because 88.7 divided by 66. It's like a 1.3 peg on SoFi. Yeah, I mean, after those bank earnings, don't blame that at all. Bank earnings seem pretty good. Nice move here on SoFi. We've really come up quite a bit since the beginning of October. Just alone, you're from 760 up to almost $10 now. Pretty good. And so, who's the Fortress Pact? Fortress Pact, SoFi. All right, so $2 billion loan platform agreement for personal loans. Oh, basically allowing it to make more loans, huh? The agreement will expand their loan business. All right. Today announced $2 billion loan platform agreement for personal loans with funds managed by affiliates of Fortress. Yeah, but who was the other one that had a Fortress loan? I think Red Robin has a Fortress loan, I think. And I think, yeah, they do. And that company does not negotiate, it seems like, when it comes to, like, companies that have problems. They just go, like, repossess your stuff. So I almost feel like it just feels like making a deal with the devil. But I don't know, maybe I'm mischaracterizing Fortress, but I've seen them on filings before as being pretty aggressive. All right, what do we got here? MF Condell. I'm a United States Postal Service city letter carrier, and our contract expired 500 something days ago. New contract is poised to bring large raises to 235,000 workers. Do you think this will affect CPI data? Well, it depends. So last year we saw wages gain nicely towards the second half of the year, and we had the lowest inflation in a year. The Federal Reserve has also talked down the direct link between wages, moving up at sort of a 3 to 4% pace and its impact on inflation, mostly because supply chains have expanded so much. So it's a little hard to say that, it'll definitely be an inflationary event. Of course, from just sort of like an initial reaction POV, it seems like it would make sense, but it doesn't seem to necessarily be correlated in this cycle. There's much less of a fear of a wage price spiral in this cycle. Yeah, so I would say no. Okay, BTC jumped after Chinese CPI. Ooh. Let me see here. There was some China news this morning. Let me see here. Okay. I think it was export data. I saved it here somewhere. Oh, did Jim Cramer endorse Harris? That can't be. Because if that happened, oh, okay, yeah, he's been saying this for a while, actually. Yeah, it seems like he's been pretty bullish. Harris. Jim Cramer endorses Harris. Indirectly endorsed her. Jim Cramer says Harris is going to win. Wow. Okay. Well, there's the inverse Cramer argument. That's funny. All right, let me go to... So, China's export growth unexpectedly slowed in September, curbing a trade rebound. Exports were essentially flattening, and then they have a bunch of stats and stuff. And then China's economy-wide prices in longest decline since 1999. Yeah. Deflation, baby. Deflation. I'll write that down. China. Chinese CPI. Longest decline in prices since 1999. And exports softer than expected. All right, very well. Let's listen in here for a moment.
A little bit lower there. All right, but it seems nonetheless everybody is buying stocks, right? Let's talk about this with Cole Smead. He is the CEO of Smead Capital Management. And Cole, in your notes, I see a St. Louis Fed figure here that shows U.S. households hold more stocks relative to other financial assets than they have since the St. Louis Fed began keeping records in 1952. What does that stat say to you? Do we hold too much in terms of stocks?
Yeah, and thanks for having me this morning, Matt. It argues it's a historical precedence that you rarely see. The other two junctures you saw this high of ownership relative to the past history would have been 69, which was the highest to that point, or 1999, which was the highest to that point. And so looking back at those two prior instances, what you saw no matter what was negative real returns in the S&P 500. And in one case, there was nominal returns that were positive. In the other case, there were nominal returns that were negative, and that was obviously the 2000s. And so we look at it as a contrary indicator. When American households in this data own large amounts of stocks like they do, it shows you it is exuberance, it is confidence to a level in the stock market that you will rarely see. Now, am I saying that every American household owns stocks? No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that it shows the extremity of wealth. The extremities would be Elon, would be Jeff Bezos, would be Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer. Those are the extremities of wealth, and it just screams that when you run into those extremities, broad equities, as noted by the S&P 500, are a terrible 10-year investment.
I will say, though, Cole, I mean, I hear what you're saying on positioning, showing exuberance in this market, and certainly the best start to a year for the S&P 500 since 1997 would tend to agree with you. But even still, you think about some of the features of other bubbles that we've seen, if we want to call them that. You're not seeing, for example, the silly season in IPOs that maybe you've seen in bubbles past. I mean, how do you square the circle that we're missing some defining features of that exuberance?
Yeah, it's a great question. History never repeats itself, but it rhymes. What we saw in 2022 was a lot like 1969, where the bubble of IPOs, to your point, and SPACs and all the other, the VC money raising, you can just put it all together. The activity on Wall Street peaked in 22 like it did when the 60s ended. Now, that didn't stop us from going on to the Nifty 50 in 1972, which, just for the record, peaked on my birthday, December 11th of 72. And then we went to a 2-year nasty bear market and begat the decade of really the lost stock return decade of the 1970s. So I kind of look at this like 1972, the bluest of blue chip, creme de la creme American businesses being as overpriced as they ever get. And you can wake up 25 years later, like Jeremy Siegel did in his book Stocks the Long Run, and he argued you should have paid at the top because you almost beat the S&P 500. That's great for an academic. I live in the real world. Our investors live in the real world. If in 25 years we can say we almost beat the S&P 500, I will be out of a job. I will be calling Michael Bloomberg to ask if I can get in the media business. So that's the issue here is in the real world, those things don't apply. And I think we can wake up with the bluest of blue chips in 5 to 7 years being down 55% like Coca-Cola did from 72 to 79. Was it a great business? Yes. Was it going to grow a lot? Yes. Did it have a great balance sheet? Yes. And it lost 55% of its market cap.
I hate really talking about stocks as a monolith here. We could talk about the S&P 500, its performance, or the Nifty 50, the Dow Jones, or the NASDAQ. Yeah. The fact of the matter is that these companies change over time. You're a stock picker. Want to cite something that's been going on in the market, the S&P equal weight versus the S&P 500. Just over 3 months, you've actually had twice as good performance in the equal weight index. You've seen a rotation coming on. You're somebody that has already been invested on a lot of those names that those rotation trades have been coming into, like financials. Where do you see this going?
Yeah, to your point, it's not to say that all stocks are unattractive. That's not the point in this. It's just really the dollar-weighted opportunity, or what most institutional investors can do is a very poor strategy. To your point, I mean, think of financials right now. You know, this idea of a recession, it's a fleeting idea. It's really hard to find a recession. I call it the great unicorn. We know it's out there. We just can't find it. And that's the inherent issue. So like in the financial space, it's like we're running this carry trade. The carry trade is 7% of our GDP is spent in deficit. Can you get a recession when you're doing that? I find that hard to believe. And based on the politics in this season, I can't see it ending. And therefore, you're in an elongated cycle of economic growth. Yes, it's not real in many cases because it's federally spent GDP growth. But that being said, it's a great way to make money as inflation is not at bay, in our opinion.
We don't see any inflation in the energy sector. I saw premium.
This guy sounds a little jaded. It's like he's like butthurt or something.
You know, my region here. What do you think about energy investments now? Obviously, we've seen a little bit of volatility, but for the most part, I think people are bearish on demand. OPEC, I believe, recently announced again that it thinks demand is going to be slower growing, only 2% for 2024. So is fuel demand fading, and what does that mean for your energy investments?
Well, yeah, they've come out and said slower growth. They didn't say, it isn't going to grow. And I just look at the world as we're at 40 million barrels a day of demand. We got to go to 50 at some point as the world grows, because ultimately oil and gas are a good proxy of economic growth. And so I think less about the demand side, though, Matt. I think a lot more about supply. I mean, use the United States. We're the largest grower of production looking back 20 years. We are the largest grower in the Permian. And if the Permian cannot grow at the rate it did, that means where are we going to get the extra 10 million barrels a day from as we look forward over economic growth? So I think that's the biggest thing we think about is the lack of supply. And if you look at the reinvestment, CapEx as a percentage of operating cash flow in the oil and gas space, it's just not there. If you go announce you're going to do more CapEx, you're going to find a falling stock price on an oil and gas business. To the point earlier about the equal weighted versus the dollar weighted, energy isn't owned in either in any meaningful way. It's a great way to get rich in a decade that stocks are going to do terribly.
Well, Cole, let's talk about that a little bit more. I mean, why do you think that's the case? You take a look at energy equities. They had a great run a couple years back, but since then, I mean, declining last year, this year up 11% or so, underperforming the overall index. I hear that you're saying that this is a market focused on supply, but given the might of American oil producers, wouldn't you expect a better performance and more enthusiasm?
Not at all, because that's being overshadowed by the fact that the majors have been the worst performing over the last 3 to 4 years. So that's where the dollar-weighted money is. Again, you're back to your issue of where's...
So I looked at this. This guy has the company that they work with or run 22% in oil and natural gas, 10% real estate, and then some in banks and contractors and pharma. Basically, no tech.
But that's not where the money's at. So if I can go out and buy mid to high teens returns and pay something like low single digit book value multiples, I can do really well because I'm ultimately going to get the return of the business. Versus if I got to go out and buy Microsoft that produces 30% return in equity, and I got to pay like 10 to 12 times book, I better be right about my exit multiple, or else I'm going to have a lot of trouble if return on equity declines for any reason, or multiples contract because the inflationary pressures aren't at bay.
Cole, give us some names here. I'm really curious about what you're watching. We were just talking about how we're entering the thick of earnings.
Occidental Petroleum, Lennar, Simon Property, American Express, Amgen, Merck, DR Hardin, Baker.
I frankly think what we're going to see in buybacks and also consolidation in the energy business, this is like a Boone Pickens market. You can dig for oil cheaper on the New York Stock Exchange than you can in the field still. And I think what we see the majors should be doing is consolidating more. Ultimately, we're buying the companies that they're going to have to acquire. I mean, that's broadly speaking, outside of Conoco, which is our only major that we own. So we are in Ovintiv, we are in Apache, we own Devon. Our biggest holding in the space is actually Occidental Petroleum. I think the other thing you'll see is cross-border mergers. I mean, we're up in Canada in names like MEG and Synovus that we also own in our U.S. portfolio. And then we own a company called Strathcona. Billionaires have been made in this business, rarely. And you can go out and buy businesses that billionaires are involved in, and you just don't find that in most companies. Strathcona has that with Adam Waterous. And so we think the space is going to probably end up with 5 to 7 players, whether you're in Canada or the United States. The flip side is go look at what the regional banks have been doing since last fall. 1 year ago, it's been a great place to compound money. And again, you're getting mid-teens returns, and you're paying something closer to book. That is so vastly different than paying 4.8 times book for the S&P that's producing almost similar returns.
Cole, we have to leave it there, but great conversation as always. Positioning for consolidation, that is Smead Capital.
Very interesting. Okay, so, all right, very well. Something else that's interesting is MicroStrategy. Excuse me. Oh my goodness, it came over me. They hold Bitcoin worth, let's see here, $15.8 billion. Okay. And just as a heads up, while they own $15 billion of Bitcoin, do you know what their market cap is? Does anyone know? While they own $15.8 billion of Bitcoin, their market cap is $43 billion. So that means you're trading for a 2.7 times multiple, which is crazy for the underlying Bitcoin. Like, you'd be better off buying Bitcoin, but I think what's happening is you're seeing this sort of year-to-date performance of MicroStrategy, which is crazy. But anyway, it's up 210%. And what's Bitcoin up right now? Bitcoin on the year, let me see here. Bitcoin opened at 42K. So Bitcoin's up about 52%. MicroStrategy's gone up $4 for every dollar that Bitcoin has gone up this year. That's crazy. That's like tweetable. MicroStrategy this year has gone up roughly $4 for every $1. Well, I guess I'll just put it this way. MicroStrategy has gone up 4% for every 1%. That's easier. Every 1%. Bitcoin has gone up this year. Wow. In case that isn't clear, that's highly unsustainable. Either Bitcoin has to skyrocket and catch up, or MicroStrategy has to come way down. So, Yeah, it's really interesting. Oh, I find it fascinating. So, all right. What else? What time is it? 6:16. All right. Let's jump over here. MicroStrategy is the infinite money glitch. Yeah, let's see how much leverage they have. MicroStrategy, investor relations. Okay, let's see here. MicroStrategy, IR. Okay. Financial docs. Why do they just do 8Ks? Okay. All right. Oh, they've got a bunch of. Okay, let's see here. So we know they issue bonds, tons and tons of convertibles, which is fine. It's a great way to fundraise, actually. And so he's been fundraising with a ton of convertibles, and then buying Bitcoin basically. Okay, that's fine. Where is a balance sheet? Why is it so hard to find? How about a quarterly filing? There we go. That'll work. All right. So, this company has current liabilities, deferred revenue. I don't really care about that. So you got about 240 of current debt and 3.7 billion of long-term debt. Well, if they have 15.8 billion of Bitcoin and 3.7 of long-term debt, this is not really a leveraged position. And then they don't really hold cash or receivables. Wait a sec. Why does it say that? Oh, because that's probably recorded at cost. Oh, that's interesting. Digital assets are only sitting at 5.6. That's probably recorded at the cost, which means, they're up like 3x on their Bitcoin. A little less than 3x, which is really impressive. But still, we already calculated the market value of their Bitcoin at $15 billion. And so then even if you take out debt, you should have net equity here of like $12 billion. But the company's trading for 45. So you're still trading for this insane skew. How does this company have a market cap of over $40 billion when, its net equity is basically $12 billion? And it's basically just a Bitcoin buying machine, right? And there's not that much leverage. So calling it leveraged isn't really accurate. So, oh yeah, okay. Oh, okay. MicroStrategy is now an AI company as well. Okay. Yes. Yes. We use AI to buy our Bitcoin. That sounds ridiculous. But the valuation's definitely misplaced right now. Let's see what they call themselves. Let's see what they say in terms of their AI. Maybe they say they do a lot of AI. Let's see here. Where is business? World's first Bitcoin development company. Yes. Okay, let's see here. There it is. We also develop and provide industry-leading AI-powered enterprise analytics. Ooh. Let's see what revenue they make from their software business. All right. So let's go to income. Product licenses. $9 million. Bro. Subscription services, 24. Well, so they make some money here. Product support. How do you make more money on product support than you make on the subscription services? I don't know what product support you have. But anyway, that's $111 million, of which, as software, they've grossed about 80 here. But look at these operating expenses. Look at this. This is crazy. We'll take out the digital impairment loss. It's 100 mil. So they lose money. They lose money on their AI software. So congratulations. It's a money-losing SaaS. And I'm adding back in the digital impairment. They spend way more than they make on their AI. And this is a little loony, but that's okay. That's where markets are right now. So let's listen in over here.
And they've done a lot.
Right. Well, remember their board itself, 6 directors stepping down very soon, and then Mr. Kelly stepping down at the annual meeting next May. That's 7 directors. They shrunk the board. Hence, Elliott has shrunk its slate from 10 to 8.
But I come back and say, you know what? If you get rid of the board members who you didn't think were that impressive, because it's kind of I'm going to say this, kind of a cronyist board.
Well, they said there were 0 independent directors with outside airline experience until they recently appointed one.
Somebody says, Kevin is starting to see how good MicroStrategy is. Bro, have you ever opened their financials? They lose money on their core business, and they're worth an excess of 3 times the value of their assets, which is mostly Bitcoin holding. It's insane. It's a bubble. Either Bitcoin needs to skyrocket or MicroStrategy is going to have a glorious collapse one day.
Take another look at the pre-market as the S&P at least takes aim at the 46th all-time high of the year. Stay with us.
All right. Let's see here. What else? Let's jump in over the Doomers. Okay, what do they got? Oh, Boeing talk. Good.
It's affecting their clients, their customers.
Well, we already heard from their key customer, which is Emirates today. They are by far the biggest buyer of that aircraft. This is the sort of updated derivative of the 777, the 777X. That plane was already delayed. Originally, that plane was supposed to come out in 2020. That gives you a sense of just how late it is. And Emirates was saying, very unhappy about this. We're going to have some robust conversations with Boeing, I imagine, about compensation. But across the industry, everyone's very unhappy about these delays.
Yeah, big time. And Ortberg saying on Friday that they need to be clear-eyed about the future. It's going to be a fascinating story to follow. That is Bloomberg's Benedict Kamal with the latest on Boeing. Now coming up, casino and gambling stocks under pressure this morning. Details next in our Social Climbers. This is Bloomberg.
Let me write this down. 15 billion in Bitcoin as of today, and 4 billion-ish in debt. The company trades at over 3x the value of its Bitcoin, with a money-losing SaaS. Market cap today over 40 bill. Either, I'm gonna write that little note down. Okay, so either Bitcoin is substantially undervalued, or MicroStrategy is massively overvalued. You did have the MSTX ETF, which is the 1.75x long MSTR ETF, and that one that could be contributing to MSTR's latest run, since it's been, on a tear. Look at this. This launched August 14th or so, and it's gone from $20 to like $46 now in the pre-market. It's crazy. Explosion. Oh. Explosion. All right, what else we got here? No, only the bond market is closed today. The stock market is actually open. Tony says Kevin needs to learn more about Bitcoin. Well, why don't you tell me what I'm missing? Because anytime, so you get these sort of unlogical statements from people. If you say something that questions someone's beliefs, their response is, well, you just don't understand it. Really? Why don't you explain to me one thing that I don't understand? You can't, because you're a troll and you're extremely biased. Somebody here says Bitcoin's going to 300, maybe as high as 900K. Hedge trade idea, buy Bitcoin, inverse MSTR. Well, if you think the valuation of MicroStrategy is fair, then in that theory, yes, MicroStrategy would, or Bitcoin would be highly undervalued in that article, in that thesis, all right? Evie Jen says the amount of delusional people in this chat. Well, yes, I'll just leave it there. Yes, there's definitely some delusion in here. Also, probably short squeezing. I think it's probably euphoria. That's probably what's going on in a lot of stock valuations right now. MSTR short 16%. Yeah, it should be a lot higher. Wow. I have family members that work for an aerospace company, and he was telling me they stopped making airplane parts and moved to manufacturing missiles. A lot of money in missiles. A lot of money. And they'll pay whatever your price is. Not necessarily true. They do requests for proposals, but still. That's crazy. Kevin, you just don't get it. Bitcoin is going to 500 quadrillion. Only fools say otherwise. Yes. You have finally found my weakness. I forgot. I should be considering these numbers in multiples of quadrillions. That is the error in my ways. All right, let's get ready for the market open here. Somebody says Germany entered into recession. Yep. Yeah. It begins. All right. All right. Let's see what the doomers, or, well, same thing, are saying. And we got the bell in about 40 seconds.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, so notice CAT is down in the pre-market. Morgan Stanley downgrades it to underweight. Now, I will say you to this. Where was he during the biggest run that I've seen of a major? Now, it's been weaker of late, but I will tell you that Jim Umpleby has reinvented Caterpillar, made it a lot of mega projects, leverage. But this guy's just like CAT's the old cat. You know, some levered company. And by the way, if it is the old cat, what stock do you want to buy on rate cuts? Caterpillar. So I want to not only emphatically disagree with this downgrade, I say to myself, Angel Castillo, wrong.
We'll see. Morgan Stanley's about 10% below consensus for next year's earnings. Let's get the opening bell here in the CNBC Real-Time Exchange. The big board, Markets Media Group's Women in Finance, celebrating the 10th anniversary of its Women in Finance Awards. And at the NASDAQ, it is Micron, new logo and 15 years. Jim, you're going to be talking to them very soon.
Okay, so Sandra Mehrotra, there are people in the business that...
All right, so what do we got? Micron up about 1% here. Enphase just went negative. You just had a little bit of a dump there at the open. Shows you some of the retail euphoria might not be translating over to the institutional side. Tesla just had a little bit of a red candle as well. Palantir. Oh, look at that reject. 43.78. Watch that line. I don't know how solid this one's going to be, but so far it's been hitting on it. Hit on it in pre-market as well. Is it going to break out? Tesla coming back out. We got a green candle coming back. Come on. Apple. Nice green at the open. Nvidia green at the open. It's gonna hit all-time new highs here this week, probably. DJ Tiz up another 4 and a bit. Probably, honestly, moving off of the predicted markets. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Bond market is closed today. FICO's up another %. NEO's down 1%. Roblox pretty much flat. Ethereum 2,500. Okay. Qzy doozies. Oh, look at that. Tesla back to where it was in the pre-market. Now even higher. It's almost up 2%. It's skyrocketing. It's going to the moon.
Wet steel.
That's hanging out. Palantir trying to push up. Look at that. Nvidia too. Ooh, just keeps climbing. It never ends. It will never go down. Oh, MicroStrategy is going down. MicroStrategy is falling. Oh no. Oh no. The Qs are holding up though. Let's take a look at Meta and Microsoft and some of the mags. Microsoft up 45 bips. Apple's up a little bit. How's SoFi doing? SoFi still up 7%. Meta. Google. And, Enphase tried going green again. Look at that. Little buy order there on Enphase, right at $100. Okay. And Nvidia just keeps going. All right, what else? Let's see what news there is. It's probably bad if your company charges more for product support than it does in product sales. Sorry, that's a MicroStrategy dig. I just realized that. Why do they charge more for support than they make? Oh no. Oh no. Alright, what else do we have here? Okay. A lot of expectations that stocks are gonna beat earnings estimates. Big question is going to be, what's the forecast going to be for next year? We shall see. What's going to happen with China and China stimulus? We shall see. We do have... Let's see here. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah, there we go. Does look like we've got... Ooh, look at that. Just keeps going, Nvidia. Can't stop, won't stop. I gotta scroll the zoom out here because it's just rocketing. So, we do have Waller speaking at noon, California time. Tesla got an upgrade from Evercore ISI. That just came through. Let's see here. Gold down about 30 basis points. Market's now open. 66 bips on the Qs. It's pretty good. Kind of moving with Nvidia here. Bitcoin's giving a little bit of a bearish omen. See, let's go to the 1 min. Yeah, 1 min on BTC rotating down a little. MicroStrategy rotating down. Apple. Look at that run on Apple, though. Nice. Right at 230. Now, where have we been on that one? Let's go to the day. Wow, look at that consolidation on Apple, huh? Try to make money at 230, and look how perfectly that has been between 217 and 230. That's pretty remarkable. How's Tesla going down? Oh, yeah. Oh, what's going on over there? Look at that 218 bounce right between my lines, like the ping pong ball. Or that like video game where you kind of have to like move the line across the bottom. You kind of can just like ping the ball up and down. I guess you're just pinging the ball up. Oh well. Did y'all see my angry story yesterday on the IG? The good old ijizzles. I shouldn't call it that. Anyway, it was crazy. I went to Lowe's. Follow me there, meet Kevin. But I went to Lowe's, and it was crazy. I felt like I didn't even buy that much stuff, and it was like $500. And I'm like, bro, who makes ABS piping so freaking expensive? It was insane. Let's see if I can.
ABS cart.
No. Is that just not? Whatever. Oh, there we go. Let's see if I can play it.
Now playing Kevin Pafford's station.
Stop, Sean. No. Where's my audio? I don't know where the audio is. Oh well. Never mind. You'll have to go watch it on IG. It's interesting. I don't know why my audio won't output. I thought that'd be entertaining.
And why these little things are like 10.
Oh, I found it.
Nobody knows.
Yeah, there it is. I found it. Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. So you got to see it. You got to let me know how my impression was. All right.
Yeah, there's your boy Jack. Meet Jack. He got to ride in the ABS cart. I cannot believe this little bit of plumbing supplies would cost $530. It must have been the lollipop. The inflation has gotten horrible over here at the Lowe's. Nobody knows inflation better than the people at Lowe's. I don't understand why this pipe is $34, and I don't understand why these little things are like $10 to $15 a piece. I don't get it. I don't know. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
Yeah, anyway. That was crazy. That was bad. So, okay. Tesla's playing the line. And, yeah, China. It's China's fault. Jack learning how to work like a little man. Yeah, it's I try to put him to work, honestly. It's one of the reasons I'm doing this, but we're I rarely get time to work on it, so it's going very slowly. But I try to work with them and get them to do landscaping or whatever, just because I think it's good for the kids to get away from indoor stuff and go do stuff outside. And yeah, I've got a where was it? I think Max. Oh yeah, here's Max yesterday. I'm making him dig or putting sand in the trench. Get to work, child. Anyway, we'll get back to the market here. Oh, Jack and I did find hats at Lowe's though. Did you know they sell hats at Lowe's? There you go. All right. Tesla's literally moving up exactly on my line. So, wow, Palantir. Is this an all-time new high? I think so. Yeah, it's like every day a new all-time high at Palantir. High. It will never end. It will only go to the moon. And then after base camping at the moon, we will go to Mars. Okay. Google rising, Meta sideways, SoFi 5% up, Apple up at 232, range bound though. S&P 500 doing quite well. MicroStrategy. End phase down again. What is this? Tesla. It can't keep it up today. Q's now coming down. The Nvidia is stalling, therefore Q's will fall. Oh, it's comedy. Keep in mind the bond market is closed today. That's kind of weird. Columbus Day. Bond market closed, but stock market open. Look at that consolidation on Peloton. Peloton. A little easier to visualize there. Dave & Buster's. Oh, wow. Right to my line. Look at that. That's crazy. Oh, that is wild. Look at that. It ran up to $69 and crashed right back down to my line. Trust the lines, my friends. Trust the lines. That's funny. Oh, by the way, get your puts. I'm going on a vacation next week. I know. I apologize. I'm just giving you a heads up, okay? There's no expectation of bad news next week. There's no expectation of bad earnings next week. Honestly, there's like no bad catalyst next week. But I'm going on a vacation. That's it. That's all I gotta say. And I will be gone for like a week or something like that. I'll probably still figure out how to post videos because honestly I kind of love it. I get bored when I don't post or go live or whatever. So we'll see if Starlink can take us live. But I'd rather tell you that before I go on a vacation. So that way, you know that you had your heads up, okay? Friday, like, market close. That's it. I'm out of here. Okay, so at least I'm not leaving until the market closes. Just a heads up. I'm not taking off until the market closes. But after that, next week, I'm going to be gone all week. Ah. Alright. So, look at that Google rise today. Wow, Google. Where are you relative? Still sort of bobbing around this space. You're not like at an all-time high like Meta. Meta's just been on a skyrocket here. You can actually just extend that trend line right there. It looks pretty good. Oh, Q's tried popping off again. Does that mean Nvidia went up again? More bids for Nvidia? No, Nvidia's still bleeding. DJT's rising. JP Morgan giving up a little bit after its run on Friday. Tesla breaking below my 218 line? What? Oh, no. Oh, somebody here says my cash account didn't get settled over the weekend. Really weird. Anyone else having this issue? Today is a banking holiday, my friends. It is not going to settle today. That is normal. Banking holiday. I apologize.
Lost the lead.
I actually give my employees Columbus Day off. I sound like a complete dumbass for doing that. But, like, all my workers are off today, and I'm like, I guess I'll be working. Oh, well. It's alright. They work hard. They deserve it. Nvidia! No! That's alright. Alright, let's go find some news. Because there's nothing new here. Okay. So, no bond market. We see what the stock market's doing. We know we got earnings coming up. We can't really look at interest rate futures. Tomorrow we have Empire Manufacturing. So that'll be the New York State, but you'll get the advanced read for October, so that'll be interesting. Let me write that down. Let's do Catalyst. Catalyst for this week. Okay, so we're going to go Tuesday. We have Empire Manufacturing. And there we go. Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup. Okay. Then we have Wednesday. Who came up with a spelling for that? Wednesday, we'll have import, export prices, NY Fed services, and mortgage apps. And then what do we have in terms of earnings? Wednesday. United Interactive Brokers. United Air, Interactive Brokers. I don't like Interactive Brokers anymore, by the way. I had a little moment there where I thought I was going to build a relationship with them, but their company was not nice to me. So, screw them. ASML. Oh, ASML and Abbott. Okay, all right. And Synchrony Financial. Oh, that's going to be a big one because that one really gives you your lower end retail consumer. They do a lot of store cards. So, Interactive Brokers, ASML, Morgan Stanley, Synchrony Financial, and United Air. Oh, by the way, speaking of getting pissed off at companies, dude, what's it called? Starbucks ripped me off for like $10, and I was so pissed that I got myself a whole like coffee and espresso and whatever like machine set up, and that's it. Starbucks is over. That's what they get. Don't screw me out of $10. I showed them. All right, Thursday we get retail sales. Retail sales advance month over month and well, just retail sales advance. Okay, and control group. Then we get initial jobless claims, initial claims, and continuing claims. Okay. And then Friday, we'll get housing starts and permits. And then what about more earnings? So Wednesday, we also get Discover. And Kinder Morgan. Okay. Thursday, TSM. Blackstone, Truist. Ooh, Netflix. That's going to be a good one. Netflix, WD-40, for whatever that's worth. Okay. And then Friday, we get Amex. That'll be a good one, too. And Ally. Ooh. PG. Okay. All right. I mean, interesting week. Tesla recovers.
Gain the lead.
Look at Bitcoin. It's a good omen.
Gain the lead.
And MicroStrategy is now going up on that. Nvidia is going up. Apple up. And the Qs are up a whole %. That's really nice. Just in like the last, 6 minutes here or whatever? A whole % on the Qs. You've got... Oh, wow. Enphase went green.
Gain the lead.
Palantir gave up. Look at that. Coming right back towards my line. The lines. Trust the lines. DJT's up 7.3. Bond market's closed, so these are a misnomer. Amazon's up. Okay. What else? IWM. Kind of been stuck on IWM in this range, though. Yeah. Somebody's asking, why is Rocket mortgage down? Because mortgage rates skyrocketed after the Fed cut 50. Any thoughts on Enphase? I love Enphase. I think they're a great company. Probably as people try to price in more Trump on the predicted markets, you're seeing Bitcoin go up. And then you're going to see like the energy stocks like Enphase go down. Yep. Tim Hortons over Starbucks? No doubt. No doubt. In fact, let me see if I have it here, my friends. Let me see. I will find out. Let's see here. Where is it? Yes. I have found you. For my espresso coffee setup, everything, whatever. I have purchased the following. The best. We'll see. We shall see. Yeah, I keep seeing references to TLT here. Remember, the bond market is closed today, so it doesn't matter. Tell us about your coffee machine. I'll tell you after I try them. So I got two, and my intention is to try out my favorite first, and I want to really like test it, and then I'll leave the other one packaged up, and I might return it. And if the one I try breaks, like some of the reviewers say it does, then I'll return the one I want, and I'll keep the other one. So I'm kind of like, I'm hedged. We're hedged, boys and girls, we're hedged. Oh. Kevin, where is your confidence at with analysts saying the S&P will hit 6,300 by the end of the year? I don't know, man. Everybody's like going freaking kooky dookie about markets can only go up. To me, it's like this is like 2021. Like milk it and enjoy it. It's like a euphoria. It ain't gonna last, but hey, enjoy it while it does. So, what else? What else we got? I don't know. I don't know. Alright. Q's and D's? Oh, peeking out, peeking out! Oh no! Bitcoin peeking out! Palantir's almost negative, what? Oh, but look at Nvidia go, up another 3% on the day. Holy smokers. That's, dang. Microsoft up 135 right now. And Nvidia, 3% on $3 trillion. That's a lot. That's like $90 billion. Isn't that like a Disney? What's Disney at? Disney's 171 billies. Wow. Wow, wow, wee, wah. Exactly, Steven. Exactly. What's the next line for NVIDIA? I don't actually think I have another line for NVIDIA. It'd have to be a fib extension, honestly. Yeah, 164 is the fib extension I have. It's possible, especially with this euphoria. Somebody says, keep fighting the tape and the Fed, Kevin. I ain't fighting jack anything. I'm building house hack. House hack, baby. That's what I'm doing. House hack, house hack, house hack. That's what I love. I love my real estate. Nobody knows real estate better. Nobody. Is it just me or is Kevin's mic lower than usual? It's possible. I'm sorry. All right. I think we've, let me see if there's anything left.
Now official. We'll take a quick break. Be back in a moment.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, they're all on commercial. Fine then. Fine then. All right. Well, nice green day. Enjoy the green across the board while it lasts. My vacation begins Friday after the market close, so get your attendees on Nvidia's moonshot and Palantir's moonshot and MicroStrategy's moonshot and the Nasdaq about to hit all-time highs at 503, currently at 498. Enjoy it while it lasts. Anyway. All right. Thanks so much for being here. See y'all in the next one. Appreciate you. And good luck.